Hey everybody, this is Professor Swift. This is going to be a short video on mutations. Now I hope you all remember that, the DNA codes for the mRNA. The mRNA is taken out of the nucleus in eukaryotes to a ribosome, and the ribosome reads the mRNA and actually produces a protein or a string of amino acids. Now, what's a mutation? Well, it's not the Hulk. If you put yourself in a chamber and get exposed to gamma rays, you're not going to become green and big, you're going to die. So don't do that. A mutation is any time the sequence, the A's and T's and G's and C's of DNA are changed. So if something happens to me and my DNA is changed, the sequence is changed, that's a mutation. And there are a few different types of mutations that we're going to talk about today and that I want you to know about. I'm going to switch over real quick to my screen. Here we go. And so a gene, which is part of the DNA, can be altered. And it can be altered by a lot of different things. Mainly things like ionizing radiation, like sunlight. Gamma radiation will certainly do it. But again, you won't become the Hulk. All of these things can literally get in there and knock some of these nucleotides either completely out or change it or transpose them and just make the sequence different. We're going to talk about really three types real quick. We're going to talk about silent mutations, which something changed, but because of the redundancy in the system, even though the DNA code changed by one, the codon that codes for the amino acid did not change. So even though there's a mutation, we still get the same amino acids. We call that a silent mutation. We have a missense mutation, and that actually changes the amino acid that's inserted, and that can be bad. So we've changed one or possibly more nucleotides in the DNA, and so now the codon actually codes for a different amino acid, and so therefore a different amino acid is inserted, and depending on where that is in the protein chain, that can actually make it work badly. Maybe it won't change it at all, or maybe it'll make it completely non-functional. Okay, so those are bad. Then we're going to talk about nonsense mutations. Nonsense mutations, that does something that I think in almost every case is very, very bad. What it does is it changes a normal codon that codes for an amino acid into a stop codon. So if you're manufacturing a protein and you're only halfway through and you've got a mutation in there that codes for a stop codon, bam, you're done. You are no longer continuing. You've just terminated it, and you have not finished the intended protein. And that's bad because it won't work, right? So again, for later on, I want you to remember silent mutation, which means the same amino acid is inserted, so there's no change, so the protein is fine. We have a missense mutation, which does change the amino acid that is placed in the protein chain, and that might not affect the function of the protein, but it might very well affect it or even make it not work at all. And then nonsense mutations almost always, because they change a regular codon into a stop codon, they almost always make it a non-functional protein. I'll switch back so you can see my lovely visage. That's about it. Those are the three things I want you to know. Have an awesome day. Thanks so much.